So, fun fact about Anna Cathcart. Dear Anna, she cannot use an eyelash curler or let anyone use an eyelash curler on her to save her life.
No.
Just never.
No.
Never, ever,
The life
ever.
of me. It's awful.
And on that note, roll the intro.
All right, guys, this episode is brought to you by Fresh. By combining potent natural ingredients, ancient rituals, and modern science, Fresh creates beauty products that perform with experiences that transform. From cleansers to face masks, Fresh products not only do wonders for your skin, but they provide an incredibly sensorial experience. The ultimate pamper products.
I can honestly say that Fresh is one of my favorite skincare lines. You guys know I'm so obsessed with the soy face cleanser, and this mask here is one of my favorites as well. It's a Vitamin Nectar Vibrancy Boosting Face Mask. I use it all the time. I'm gonna do a little face mask right after this. And especially now, being at home so much, I've really been trying to take the time to show my skin a little extra love. And not to mention, since these products smell so amazing, it really just makes my skincare routine feel that much more luxurious.
And Jac, now is actually the perfect time for our listeners to give Fresh a try, because you can all shop your fave Fresh goodies on Sephora.ca and save a little during the Sephora BI sale, which is happening right now through till May 1st. So happy shopping, everyone. We are going to throw on our Fresh masks right now, and let's hop into the episode.
Let's do it. Well, welcome back
to Poddy Talk, the podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jac.
And I'm Tor.
Today we have the one and only Anna Cathcart, aka my sister from another mister.
Woo!
Yes, literally.
We're so excited to have you here today. We can't wait to hear all of the stories, all of the latest and greatest. I'm so excited. Like, I'm so pumped for this.
I'm so excited too.
Aww.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so pumped. This is a long time coming. If you guys are
Yeah.
living under a rock, any of the listeners or watchers at home, Anna is an actress. You might have seen her in To All the Boys I've Loved Before. All of the To All the Boys, really.
I
Brad,
know you guys are on to the third now.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Descendants, Odd Squad, all of the things. But the reason actually that I know Anna is a really funny story. And I actually was an assistant makeup artist on Odd Squad, which was your first television show that you did.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately we just had like a bond. It was like you were my little sister, and
It was very,
very explain it. But every morning in the makeup chair, I'm just like, oh, I got to do little Anna's like concealer and powder and lip balm. It wasn't makeup,
Aww.
let's be clear. But yeah, that's how we first
Everybody's frozen.
met.
Am
Okay.
I frozen?
Oh, you're back.
Oh, you're good there.
Anyway, so that's how me and Anna initially got to know each other, and now
You're
we
back.
have just been long lost sisters ever since.
Yeah, truly. We were just talking about this the other day, how weird it was. Like, that when we met, you were like my age that I am now.
I was just
so
telling Torri this.
crazy.
Which is
So-
like bizarre. This is so, because you were like fully an adult in my mind.
No.
You were
So now
like,
you
not
are
even,
fully an adult,
like,
Anna.
I'm a child. This is bizarre. Like,
Anna.
I literally,
If you understand, okay, I don't even think my viewers necessarily know this at home because I haven't shared too much. So when I finished makeup school, I finished when I was 17, and I immediately started working on Odd Squad, which, for context, when I was younger, I used to be a child actor, and I used to work on a sinking ship show called Dino Dan. So I had reached out to the team, and I was like, hey guys, I'm a makeup artist now. Are you looking for a makeup artist? They go, hey, we're working on this show called Odd Squad, and we actually need an assistant makeup artist.
so
Just
funny.
come on set. And so I literally, like, I'm not kidding, a week after I finished school, was thrown onto set. And I was obviously so familiar with being an actor on set and how that worked, but I had no idea how to behave as a makeup artist, and I had to wear a headset and like all these little
that's
things.
so crazy.
And
I cannot imagine like being on like the crew of me right now. That would be so stressful. That would
It's
be
weird now.
wow.
It's weird to see you now grown up in the sense to the age that I was at then.
Right,
I can't wrap my head around that.
I think it's really strange how fast time flies, especially in those settings. Like, you just blink and 5 years have disappeared, and you're like, how did this happen?
Well,
For
Anna,
sure.
I know for you, that was like your first big, you were the lead of a TV show, and you had just
You've
started.
literally known me my entire career. Like, you were there from the start,
From the
Like,
beginning.
seeing it
the
blossom.
very, very beginning. And
Wow.
these past like 5 years have been also just like in general people's life. These years are like really formative years. Like from when you're like
Totally.
11 to 16, or like, well, I was like 12 to 17 or whatever. That's big. Those are huge years in
Yeah.
anyone's life, but especially like mine, like everything has happened in those last few years, and Jaclyn's been there the whole time. So
I've seen it.
Aw.
Well, you know what? I remember, I don't know if you'll remember this conversation. It was one of like the last days on set of filming Odd Squad. and you're like, should I make an Instagram? Like, how do I make an Instagram? I was like, Anna, you will, like, yes, you need to be on Instagram. That's like the thing. And you're like, I don't even know how to work it. So your sister was there helping you set it up.
Wait, you're frozen.
Wait, you're frozen.
You're frozen.
You're frozen
Wait,
up.
let's see, is it my
Okay.
Wi-Fi?
It was absolutely hilarious because you were just sharing such excitement and it was in slow
And it was slow motion, so you were like bouncing up.
Oh God. Oh God. Okay, you're back.
So Jaclyn was the true influence on you getting Instagram.
Truly, I totally remember this. And you taught me like, oh, this is how you comment. This is how you this is how you like follow people. We were like in the weird like upstairs of the studio. I remember exactly where that was.
Oh, that studio. Should we share the secrets of that studio? The joyous little quirks about it?
I was like my whole acting life was like birthed there. That studio. Like
Where
I
did
learned
you
everything.
shoot it?
We shot basically at like Mimico Station, if that means
Yeah.
anything to you, Torri. Like I would hop on the
No.
GO train every single day. It was 2 stops west of Union Station.
Okay.
You could, like
Kind of
see the
outs-
GO station from there.
Yeah, and you were like staying you weren't even staying like in downtown. You were kind of staying
No,
in,
I was
a
staying
random.
like 5 minutes from there, like in Etobicoke, just chilling.
Yeah.
I feel like that's preferable because like there's been a lot of times where I know like people have come. I had a friend come in from New York to shoot one of the shows that we were doing together, and she was living all the way downtown, and they were shooting like out in Scarborough. And it's like every morning, if you're the lead of the show, you're gonna be there first. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna want to be like 5 minutes away from set as opposed to like an hour commute every day. Like
Yeah,
it just
it was
adds a
great.
whole extra hour to your day.
It was a great location.
also crazy that you like navigated all of this when you were like 12 years old.
Yeah.
How did your life change from when you had that audition, you found out you book it, and then all of a sudden you're from Vancouver, that's where you are right now,
Yeah.
moving across the world? Like, how did that
Crazy.
walk me through it all?
No, that was honestly, it's still like to this day one of the craziest weeks of my life. Like that was the craziest week because first off, this was my first audition ever for film and TV. Like I had done
Incredible.
commercials and stuff. When I did commercials though, I did like a few auditions a year. Like I was barely in, like I was just like, oh, this is so exciting. This is so cool. I'd done 2 commercials when I was like 6 and 8. And I was like, that was the best day of my life. Like I thought it was so
Wow.
awesome. But I was very like, oh, like it's never going to happen, whatever. Like it was just like, it was such a far dream that I never even tried to like accomplish it. Cause I was like, yeah, right. I'm going to be a movie star. That's hilarious.
How
But
did
then,
you even
like-
get into acting in the first place, to back up even further?
Well, my older sister, she's like, well, obviously, you know, Sarah, but she's 5 years older than me. And she did commercials when she was younger. And she did one of those like classic, like you meet a bunch of casting agents and then whatever. So she was already with an agent and I knew her, and I was obviously really little when Sarah started. I was like a toddler. So then I was so shy. Like I'm not shy at all, but I'm also like compared to other actors and stuff, I'm still like on the shy side, I feel. So when I was little though, I like couldn't even talk to people like at all. But when I was like 6 or 7, I finally decided I think I can do it and did like a few commercial auditions with Sarah's agent. And like I like whatever booked with her and stuff. So that's kind of how it started originally. And then I got a new agent when I was like just turned 12. And then 2 weeks after that, I had my first audition for Odd Squad. And I was like, whoa, like I had never even seen a script before. Like I was like, whoa, this is so cool. Like obviously, as you guys know, I'm sure they're so out of context. So when you get like auditions, and I was like, whoa, like what is this? This is so crazy. And I went to a studio and I shot it. It was a self-tape. And I was just like so new at it. And it was very like, my mom was like, oh, just do it for the experience. Like, don't be nervous. This is so exciting. Like, imagine you're doing like a school play audition. Like, don't worry. And like my whole family was just like, wow, this is going to go nowhere, but let her have fun. And then
Little did they know.
a day, they literally called me and they were like, hey, so it was so crazy. They were like, oh yeah, like we're pretty interested in Anna. And we're all like, no, like shut up. No, you're not. And they're like, oh, but like obviously this shoots in Toronto and be shooting for 7 months straight. I was like my initial reaction was just like, I'm gonna miss school. Like I was like 7.
Yeah.
And I was in grade
You're
7.
so studious.
I know, wow. And
School.
I was in grade 7. So that was like in Vancouver, that's the graduating year of elementary school. So like in my mind at that time, I was like, this is huge. I can't miss like grad year of elementary school.
Yeah.
And it was like such a big decision. And also like my sister and my dad, we're not all going to move to Toronto for half a year. Like
Right.
it was so much. And they literally told me, you have to tell us right now if you want to come to the chem test, which was in Toronto. And like, we'll fly you down, but we'll only fly you down if you say, like, if we give you the job, you'll say yes. So we had like a few hours to just decide that, like, oh, if I do end up getting this, which we still thought was so unlikely, I was like, if we do end up getting this, I'm just going to move there for 7 months with my mom. And my sister was in grade 12 at the time, and she was just going to stay here with my dad. And like, everyone started crying out of like excitement and overwhelming. And like, me and my sister were just like, we can't be apart for that long.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy. But we were like, you know what? Once in a lifetime, like, we still did not think it was going to go anywhere. My mom was like, at least fly down there. You can meet some cool producers. Like, wow, this is so cool. So we decided to go for it. And then after the chem test, it was like, oh, it was on like a Wednesday. And I flew home. And on like Thursday, they were like, yeah, like, you got it. Be here by Sunday.
Wait, so I didn't even know that this happened in like 48 hours?
It literally, like, from the time that I did the audition to the time I was living there was literally like a week or like 8 days.
Oh my God.
That is crazy.
I
feel like in the acting world, and I've always maintained this, like the happy accidents like that, just falling into the right place at the right time is absolutely how you have to get into the industry. Like, you can't be chasing it. You can't be saying, oh my God, I want to be an actor. It just has to be this kind of natural transition. Our last guest on the podcast was Madison Pettis, who I don't know if you know who that is, but she was in The Game Plan and Cory in the House. She said the exact same story. She's like, it was literally, the Game Plan was my first audition, and I booked it and I flew out to Boston. Like, it's the same story.
That's so
it's
crazy.
Very funny.
You know what's so fascinating? It's the fact that you had to kind of like, not fake it till you make it, but you had to learn while you were being hired to be the lead of this show. Did you ever have any of those moments where someone said like, oh, I'm going to go take a 10-4 or 10-2, and you're like, and like, you didn't know the terminology, or you feel like you had to fake it to like fit into all of the new scene you were a part of?
Yeah,
for sure. I say this all the time, that I was so lucky that my first set was Odd Squad, and that my first like experience, which was like so crazy, that my first experience was a lead, first of all, still blows my mind. And I was like, of like a full series, like, it was so wild. But learning on that set, like, everything that I know now is still from that. That was like such a good foundation. And all the people there, because I was there so much, it just became like my family, which I'm so, like, if I was on a set for a couple days or something, I would have been way more overwhelmed, I feel like, because this was like, you're going to be here for so long. We're going to teach you everything. We're going to take care of you. I like knew all of everybody, like the whole crew and the whole, like, even like the production crew.
You had like secret handshakes with everyone, from the grips to the produce. Like, you had your thing with everyone, which was so nice.
It was like, and I've never really had that again, which was like, I realized how special and like that is such a rare thing to have on any kind of set. So it was crazy. And no, even like the audition, like the actual chem test is kind of a funny story. My whole family was like,
I don't think I know this.
Like, ridiculous. So obviously, like, when you go there, it's really intimidating. There's like 5 other girls, and they're all like, you all know you're competing for the same role. But I had never really like barely been to an audition before, like a real one. So I was like, I woke up in the morning. I was so stressed out. I was like really, really, really nervous. I thought I was going to puke. Like, I was freaking out. And we show up. Obviously, I don't know if like people will be familiar with Odd Squad, but the rules, like, I wore a suit the whole show. Like, everybody kind of wears like these suits and look all professional. Like, it's like the vibe of the show. Whatever. I show up in overalls. They were my favorite outfit. I'm wearing overalls, a white t-shirt. My hair is like down, like completely a mess. I'm wearing Converse, and I'm like, hey guys, this is so crazy. And then everybody else was wearing suits with their hair like slicked back. They're like they have their headshots, their resume, all in these binders. Their moms were like, oh yeah, like,
classic.
She's been on Broadway, she's done all these things. And I was like, you guys are amazing. Like, these girls were so accomplished and so cool. And I was like, oh, I was in a Campbell soup commercial. Like, that's all I had done. And I did like a Crayola commercial and that was it. And I was like freaking out. And then we met Isaac, who Jaclyn knows too. It's so
He was my neighbor growing up, which is like hilarious.
So weird. He was also like the lead of this show, and he'd already been casted. So we were doing the chem test with him, and he came out, and all the girls were like, oh my God, like, let's practice. And they were like rehearsing, and then we all got called in. I didn't have a chance to rehearse with him yet. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I was the only girl who didn't get to like formally meet him. And I was like, oh my God, that's bad, starting this off bad, like freaking out. At the last minute, I was like, Sarah, like, this isn't good. Can you please like put my hair up? My sister literally put my hair in a messy ponytail, and the really, really nice wardrobe people who I didn't know yet, but now like I know super well. They were like, you know what, girl, like we have extra suits in the back. Let's give you like a blazer so you feel a little bit more like ready and in the character. I was like, okay, so I got change out of my overalls, and it was so crazy. And then I didn't have a headshot. I didn't have a resume because we were that unprepared.
I actually love this story because it just goes to show like ignorance is bliss. Like you don't have to be coming from Broadway and the most like prepared, and it's just like who fits the role the best. Like
well,
I
and
love
that's
that.
exactly it. That's why they loved you so much, because you had that like spark, and like that's exactly what Olympia was. You are
it's unpolished. Like you don't need to be that. Yeah.
Fun, energy, like excitable. Like that's exactly what the character is, and that's what you are.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that was a little bit like
what a whirlwind.
How the story was. And then at the end of the audition, they like asked for a fitting. Like they were like, oh yeah, like let's just get your measurements. And I was like, oh, like this doesn't mean anything though, right? Like it doesn't mean I got it. Like it just means they want it just in case. And and then like a day later, they were like, hey, so that was crazy. My whole family went out to like Dairy Queen after as celebratory, and we were all like, oh my god, like this is our life's about to change. And honestly, like it really did. It was all started from that week. It was wild.
And what's so crazy too is, and this is what I remember even back when I was 17, like meeting you as a 12-year-old, you immediately rose to the occasion in the sense that you were working like 5 days a week, starting your days at 7 a.m., not leaving until like whatever, 6, 7 o'clock, however late you could work. You would be doing tutoring on set. You immediately, it's like, there's a certain type of person that can rise to the occasion of being like a child actor in that sense and keeping their professionalism, but still staying a kid and not being this weird mini adult. Like you had it all, and you somehow navigated that without having any experience prior. Like it's crazy how quickly you adapted to that.
It was, the learning curve was steep. It was crazy. There was so many things that like I was so new to that, and like you were saying, that all honestly kind of helped, like because I was so new to it, I wasn't like stressing out over the little things. I was more just like, this is so exciting, and this is all like such a cool experience, and I was just so grateful like to be there, that everything I was like, no, like I don't have time to like be tired. Like obviously it was a lot, and there were so many days that I was like, this is crazy. People at home, people like all my friends, like they have no idea how much work this is. This is like a whole new world that I would have never known either as long, like until I was in it. So that was crazy to find out. But I was just so like, everything was so new and so exciting that it was all just like, wow, this is the best day ever, like every day. So
totally. Now, before we move on to like everything that happened after Odd Squad,
everything that happens next,
I want to share a few fun Odd Squad memories, since we do have that bonded experience together. Now, I don't know, were you in the day that we were shooting with the Crap Brothers, and we had the accident of the poop explosion in the studio? Were you in the studio that day?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so.
I think for some reason all the kids were supposed to be in tutoring that day, and then something had happened, and I remember us being like, thank God the kids weren't in the studio when this had happened. So all I remember, and I'm on the headset, and first of all, me as a 17-year-old was so scared to be on the headset because like all the ADs are on there. Like I didn't want to talk. Like I still didn't know what I was doing, right? And all of a sudden,
I feel like we can't talk in film terms. Assistant director.
Oh, sorry.
People won't know what that is.
Sorry.
When they're listening. Like even 10-1, like do people know? I feel like no one actually knows.
Share
the
lingo.
Going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I need to go to the bathroom.
But I feel like it's very second nature for anyone in the industry. But when you hear the lingo and you're not in the industry, people are probably thinking, what are they talking about? Yeah.
It's just like the weird on-set lingo, you get used to. We're like, exactly. Anyway, so I hear something going on the headset where they're like, yeah, we've got a major incident back at the studio. We've got so much so on it. And I'm like, whoa, I can like hear something's going on. So I go back to like the main makeup artist, and I was like, hey, I think something's happening. Like, is everything good? Is our studio closed? Because at this point, all my kit, and at this point I paid, like my kit was like my everything. It had all of my makeup. I saved up all my money. I was like, oh my God, like I hear that there's something going on in the studio. Like our makeup room was like this kind of the heart of the studio. Like it was right in between everything. And of course, what happened is literally, I guess, the sewage pump in front of basically the makeup room, but the main hallway somehow exploded to the point that everything in the toilet system in the studio was shooting out of, And this is the day we had some big guest actors on as well. So I hear, don't take the Crap Brothers back. Don't take them back to the studio. So I guess like there was an entire mess one day. I can't remember this story. It was like, Operation Explosion of the studio.
That's gross.
What?
That is
There was like a lot of problems with that bathroom. There was so many problems with that bathroom, but I did not hear that, especially with the Crap Brothers. That
was just one day.
It's also ironic. Their name is Crap Brothers.
Crap, TT.
That would have been. I was like, wow, the irony. Okay.
That would have been.
Odd Squad always kept it interesting though. From like, we had a salami kid covered in salami lunch meat. We had a puppy day.
Classic.
You were covered in mud one episode. What were some of your?
I stood in a bucket of mayo. Oh. I was covered in jam. I was covered in, we did so many stunts though, which was honestly so fun because on like other shows, I feel like you would get like a stunt double, but we did all of our own stunts and we did all the like things that were like actually like, we really had to like learn and train for some of those, which was such a cool experience. And like some of these photos that I have of me standing on top of a pyramid of like 20 people and like, that was one of the craziest days.
That was when we were at the ski hill. I completely forgot about that. Okay, so picture this, Tori. There's a giant like cheerleading pyramid of people on this giant like wooden structure.
They made like a gigantic green screen board, like pyramid with tiny ledges for us to stand on. But I was like on the very top, like very like on top of so many people, like very, very high up, that I was also attached by the back to the board. And then I don't know if you remember this, but this was the craziest part, is that because in the show, we're standing on a pyramid and then we all change outfits.
Oh, right. We had to change. Oh, my God.
We had to change on the pyramid.
I remember I was helping wardrobe, like, pull off.
Yeah. Like, it takes too much time to take all the kids down and then put them back up on their, like, harnesses. So we literally changed, like, pants on top of this.
Oh my God. This is the movie magic. See, people don't even know what's going on behind the scenes.
People would be shocked. Yeah.
They would be shocked. I feel like it's really fun for people to think it's so glamorous and so like just the VIP life, and that is just not it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work.
Okay, so moving forward past Odd Squad, as much as we love those memories, not soon after, or I think also, was it as we had like a hiatus, a couple of weeks, you found out you booked Descendants, which is a huge Disney movie series.
So crazy.
Want to talk about that?
When did that even happen? Yeah. So we shot our season 1 of Odd Squad, which was the 7 months. And then we went home for like 5 months. And during that time I had auditioned for Descendants. Also, like I was the number 1 Disney Channel fan ever. Like, I was that person who entered all of those contests on the website. It was like all of those. Like, literally, I was like the biggest fan, and I love Descendants. Like, I love musicals in general, but I loved that movie, and I was already such like a mega fan. So even just like getting the email that was like, yeah, you have a chance at like you can audition, it was just like crazy. Like, I literally was like, oh my God, like, what if Kenny Ortega sees this? What if like someone cool, like, it was like crazy. Like, just the chance of even getting it was already mind-blowing. So I did that audition. This was in the summer. Yeah, the summer after grade 7. So summer of 2016.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And I did the audition in Vancouver with like a casting director, and I got all dressed up in this like crazy outfit because my character like description was like, oh, she's like super out there, very colorful, wears glasses, is like, so I wore like a tutu on top of like rainbow high socks and like all this stuff, got totally into it. And I had to sing. Yes. Oh my God. Why does Jaclyn have to do with everyone?
I forgot about this.
Megan Trainor, remember that? Okay. So I had to sing, and I don't sing. Like, I love singing, and I'm like trying to get better at it, but I'm like not a singer in the slightest, and it still like freaks me out to do that in front of crazy casting directors and stuff. Like, it was stressful. So already I was like, you know what, again, just for the experience, there's no way I have to be a singer. This is like a musical, a big musical, like there's no chance. So I sang a Megan Trainor song, and I did the audition, and everything went well, and it was great. And then this is Jac and Tor.
This is weird. I forgot about that.
This is so weird. So then I did the callback, and it was crazy. I don't know why my life is like, nothing ever just goes like as the plan, as smoothly. So on the day of my callback, my mom and dad were going away on a holiday for like 2 weeks. It was like for their anniversary or something. And I was like 12 at the time, and I hated when they were away. Like, it stressed me out so much whenever people had to go away. So this was like the day that they were going to the airport, was the same day as my callback. So I had been crying for like an hour right before my callback. And I was like super worked up and super stressed. And like, you could see it in my face that I was crying. So I was like, oh my God, this is screwed. Like, there's no way. I'm like, look like a mess. And I like tried to pull myself together. I was like, it's okay. I'm going to go sing. It's okay. And I did it.
I'm going to go sing.
I didn't do like a chem test or anything, just like, or I didn't even meet like producers or directors. Just from the callback, they were like, yeah, you got it. And we start shooting like in a couple weeks. And it was so mind-blowing. Like, my agent told me when I was like in the car with my mom, and we both just kind of like didn't even say anything. Like, when we were like in Descendants, like in like
you're a Disney kid
like
now.
Actually, like the wand, like I'm a Disney kid now. That was so crazy. So that was wild. And then I was such a fan of like all that cast as well. So just getting to work with them was like so cool. And since like I wasn't part of any of the musical part in the second movie, but just even having that aspect, like I was there when they were doing rehearsals and I could watch their dances as I was like doing fittings and stuff. And it was such a cool experience. And yeah, so then Jaclyn was meeting, you tell that story. That was crazy.
Yeah. Okay. This is like weird. So you had just, I think, called me or told me somehow, you're like, you can't tell anyone, but like I booked this Descendants role. I was like, oh my God, Anna, this is going to be huge. I'm like freaking out. And you were like talking about how, yeah, it was this Megan Trainor song that like really was like what brought this audition to life. And then it was so weird because as you're telling me, I was like, oh, that's so weird. Like tonight I'm going to meet Megan Trainor. I'm going there for like a work thing. That's so funny.
I know.
Yeah. I was like, and then you're like, oh my God, I love Megan Trainor. Like, I'm obsessed with her. I was like, okay, like, I don't know what the vibe's gonna be like, but maybe I can see if I can like FaceTime and like, you guys can say hello or you can like share that little story because that's super cute. I'm sure she'd love to hear it. So like hours later, I'm at this event. I'm like, hey, Anna, be by your phone. I'm heading in. And then, so I like FaceTime. I'm like, oh, hey, this is my friend Anna. She just booked some huge Disney role thanks to your song. Like, she wanted to say hi. She's a huge fan. So then like, you randomly had an interaction. Like, it was weird.
Wait, it was weird. She was wearing a onesie because she was like at her meet and greet, and like a hippo onesie. I was outside of like a hair salon because my mom was getting her haircut, and I was like trying to get Wi-Fi. And I was like, "Hi, Megan Trainor," and I was like the
screenshotting like photos for you because you're like,
yeah, it's on your YouTube channel. It's like there. It's like a FaceTime meeting Megan Trainor, Operation Anna meets Megan Trainor. It was so random.
Oh my God.
It was huge. It was such a big moment for me. I was so excited.
Oh my God.
Again, Jaclyn pulling through, making dreams come true.
That's amazing.
Was the least I can do.
That's such a nice full circle moment.
That is so funny. Oh my God. What a hilarious, I can't. Descendants was honestly such a crazy moment as well. Because I remember I was like, Anna, tell me everything about your makeup. And that's when we had this discussion of, you're like, I struggle with eyeball issues, whether it be eyelash curlers and mascara. And you had to wear like what, 8 different colors of mascara layered on your eyes?
Oh my God, yes. The Descendants makeup and hair was the coolest hair makeup that I've ever been in, but also like the biggest struggle for me because I was 12 at the time and I had like never put on makeup. Like I like did not wear makeup, and on Odd Squad I wore like concealer and that was it. So like I was not familiar with this at all. And I had like rainbow eyeliners, like a bunch of different colors, rainbow mascara, a bunch of different colors. I had like a face jewel. I had all of like way more makeup than I'd ever worn. My hair was in 2 buns, and this is also little tidbit information. They wanted me at the start to have black hair. Like they were trying to decide, like they weren't sure what hair they wanted. So I tried on so many wigs. I should try and send you, there's photos of me like being wrapped in saran wrap, them trying to like braid my hair and then like put it in the wig cap. But my hair is ridiculously thick.
I was just gonna say, you have this
thicker than any hair I've ever met. So they couldn't. They were like, we cannot put your hair in a wig. So they decided to just go with my hair. And they were originally even going to do like hair buns and stuff, but with a wig, because all of the other characters, like all of the other female characters, all wore wigs because they had like blue hair, purple hair, whatever.
Right.
but for me, they were like, no, you just have to do it. And like, I would
It's
think I was like the
impossible.
only character with like my real hair, one of the only characters, like girl characters. And there was like, we counted at the end of one of the set days, and there was literally like 90 bobby pins, because there was 2 buns with all these flowers in it and all this stuff. And I was in the hair and makeup chair for like 3 hours. It was crazy, but it was also like, it was so cool. I was like, oh, I'm like getting dressed up all fancy like a Disney like princess.
Also, the
Yeah.
coolest thing to have such a crazy costume and such a distinct character like that. You've become now a Halloween character, and they sell Dizzy outfits. How sick!
That was so wild. Like when I first found that out, like you can just buy it at Walmart. There's like me, and like you can just buy my outfit. But I think that was pretty crazy. But what's even crazier is that I have a Barbie. That blew my mind.
That's when you know.
Wow.
I have a Descendants Barbie. Like it is, and on the back and the front, my face is on it.
Do you own her? Do you own a little you Barbie?
I do. I should like get my mom to bring it up or something.
Incredible.
I have. There's like a Descendants 2 one and a Descendants 3 one, and they're in her different outfits, and that was like a really crazy moment. Like I was like, I've made it. This is wild. I have a Barbie. It's crazy.
I mean, that's something like only maybe 2% of society can say.
Less than that, I bet you. Yeah. I feel like
probably
right after Descendants or during Descendants, then you fell into the world of Netflix and To All the Boys happened. Walk us through how that happened.
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, I filmed Descendants 2, and then I went back and filmed the second part of Odd Squad. So another 6 months in Toronto. Then I came back and finished my grade 8 year at school, went back to real school. And that was my first year of high school. So that was really sad for me to miss like that year. Like I was like, oh my God, this is such a big moment. But in hindsight, I didn't miss much. It was okay.
Yeah.
But, and
It's
then,
fun.
yeah, at the end, last day of school of grade 8, my very last day of school, I went to the To All the Boys callback. It was also my sister's birthday.
Aww.
You know, it was random. And I did the callback in Vancouver. Yeah, and originally, Kitty was 9 years old. I was 14 at the time.
Oh, wow.
So the character was literally 9. I was like, there's absolutely no way. Like, I look like a monster. And, like, I look really young for my age, but 9, I was like, that's cutting it. And there were other girls, like, in the room who were literally, like, 10 years old. And I was like, I'm in high school. We do not look the same.
Right.
So I was like, oh, there's no chance. But, okay, like, of course I'll do the callback. I loved the character. That was super fun. My sister had read all the books before, and like,
oh my God, I'm like, I feel like it was more my target demo audience, like age group. I was like, Jenny Han was my absolute favorite writer. Like I was obsessed with the novels far before any of it had become TV or movie. And so like when it came out as a movie, I was like, oh my God, my dreams are being made. Like anyone who was a fan of the books was just like, it was crazy.
It was so crazy to just like be a part of that. So like I knew like how big the books were and stuff. I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
And I did the callback. I was wearing overalls again, my handy overalls.
The same one?
Lucky.
I was like, tell me it's the same pair.
They're not the same ones. I had outgrown those, but I for a while there, I don't know if you remember this, but I had like a strong overall phase where literally all I wore for like the entire summer was just, I had like 6 pairs. And anyway, not important.
You know what? Whenever I would see you, you'd be in the character's wardrobe, and then I would cape you, so I would never see you in your real clothes.
But yeah, so I did the callback. Everything went well. It was great. I met the director and stuff. And then I don't even know. I think, yeah, like just a few days later, they were like, oh, like you got the role and we're changing her to 11 years old. And I was like, oh, because like 9, it was stretched. And they're like, yeah, but like we thought 11 was fine, even though she's 9 in the book. Like, we're just going to say she's 11 in the movie. And I was like, incredible. Okay. So
they love you so much. They rewrite the novel.
Yeah.
Like, incredible.
So wild. So then we started shooting that. And that was one of like honestly, I'm always like, oh, that was like one of the best experiences ever, but I can't even choose. They were all like mind blowing. So we shot that in Vancouver though, over the summer.
Oh, cool.
Over the summer is the best because you don't have to worry about tutoring. You don't have to worry about school. There's always like that double stress. Like I'm literally doing like 2 full-time jobs at once, which I'm sure like you guys understand because you were in school while you were in this industry as well. And it's like a lot because when you have a break, you can't just go hang out with the rest of the cast, especially for that one. They were all out of school. So I was the only person that I had to go like do a math test online and do all these things. So it was great filming over the summer because I was just gotta like chill and have so much fun. And that cast is like the best. So I made friends with all of them, and we would do, because like I was from Vancouver and a lot of them weren't, I could show them around or go to tourist places and be like, oh, like this is my favorite locations to do this, or favorite food restaurants, and like all that. So it was like the best summer. It was so fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Shooting at home.
Did you guys know that when sort of like the beginning stages of bringing the movie to life, did you guys think that once that sort of upload button to Netflix was going to happen later that year, that it would just completely explode the way it did?
Not at all. Like, of course we were proud of it and we liked it, but we were like, no, like this is just a cute, like a little rom-com, like whatever.
Right.
And it was crazy. Like, even now thinking back to when that actually, like, we saw that reaction.
The explosion, yeah.
I don't even know when that happened or like what date it was, but it was so fast. Like, it was just like no one expected it. It was so crazy, so unreal. But
well, didn't you tell me at first too, I could be wrong, but when you had booked it, you didn't know that it was going to be a Netflix movie. Like, you found out once it was done or as you were filming. So you didn't even know at first, like,
where it would live.
Yeah. No one knew. It was very like, it was a low budget, small, like fun thing. And we were like, no, we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know, like, where it's going to show. And like, oh, like Netflix is what we decided for the platform. And I was like, oh, that's perfect for it because it's like totally like a sleepover type of movie. You can just watch over and over. So I was like, oh, like that's great. And then, it just blew up. It was wild. And we had no idea there was going to be a sequel. Like, obviously the books had 2 more books and it was a trilogy, but we did not think. And then now that we're doing both, we shot the second and the third back to back just like last year. And it was so crazy. That was a whole nother like, And
you got so you're already done. So the third one is already wrapped.
Yeah. The third one's already wrapped. We wrapped the third in September.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And are you allowed to say that you got to travel a little bit?
I am allowed to say. I wasn't sure for so long, and I just felt like,
am I breaking some rules?
As we were doing press, I was like, can I? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. So we got to shoot in South Korea, which was crazy. And we were there for 2 weeks with like a lot of the cast, and we had a lot of crew from the Vancouver, like original crew come and stuff. But we also had a lot of Korean crew that we didn't know and new people to work with. So I think that was honestly one of the craziest experiences like of my life. And I know I've been saying that about a bunch of things, but this one especially was just like next level wild. Like, being somewhere that international in the first place, just like there's so much to learn about, so much like you're adapting to so many things that you wouldn't really like have those kind of problems on set at home, or like all these new crew and a lot of them only spoke Korean and a lot of us only spoke English, and there was like that language barrier and so many things you'd run into that just like you wouldn't run into if you were shooting at home. And it was so cool, and my whole family got to come, which was so much fun. Like my dad and my sister, and we all went, and it was so cool. It was wild.
It's so crazy. I feel like it's truly like you're on a treadmill and the speed is just going up, and you're just continually like more and more. Because then, if I'm keeping things chronological, I'm not sure if the timeline's right. Because then you also did the Brat series, which you filmed in LA. And you're flying back and forth, and you shot your Disney Channel, like, I'm Anna Cathcart. Like, you had all these huge moments. How do you even, like, keep track of this?
I barely am keeping track. Like, all the time. People are like, oh, like, what have you done in the last few weeks? I'm like, honestly, they're all blurred together. I don't know. Like, But, no, it was crazy. Yeah, the timeline was wild these past few years, really. Like,
And you're only 16, like, which is the craziest thing.
It's crazy. But I shot, so we did To All the Boys 1, and then I don't even know, but somewhere in there I shot Zoe Valentine, which was a Brat TV series on YouTube. So that was fun, and that was the first time I'd ever worked out of Canada. Well, I mean Korea, but out of like in the US. So I had to get like those working visas and all that, those things that I had never done before. So that was an experience as well. Big learning curve there. And then we shot that in so different. Shooting something for YouTube is like such a different experience. We shot in 2 weeks. we shot 10 episodes in 2 weeks.
So fast.
Or 8 episodes, and they were really like short episodes, but still like, yeah, the pace was so fast. We would do like 1 or 2 takes for some of those shots versus like film and TV. We will spend an entire day with one scene.
Right.
And it's like learning so differently as well and working at such a different pace. So that was really cool too, and met a bunch of friends, because then that also led to Spring Breakaway, which was another show with them, or it was a movie with them. And yeah, that whole world, which was cool to like kind of dip my toes in and see that more like digital world, I guess.
Yeah.
And meet a bunch of people my age who also like, now I have a great set of friends who live in LA, and now I'm there all the time for different things. So yeah, it was crazy.
You're truly becoming the bi-coastal lifestyle.
Yeah. Off to LA this week, then back to your regular high school life. I don't know if a lot of people like know this. I don't know if you talk about it, but a lot of other actors and people that are working as much as you are, they're doing online school. They're not going in person or homeschooling or something like that. You're still attending normal school as much as you can and living a quote unquote normal life. How do you do that?
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. And I think you're right. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
And a very like common thing, people are always like, oh my God, like you're so lucky you get to miss school for like 2 months straight. I'm like, yes, but that means I also have to catch up on school for 2 months. Like I still am on like the same timeline as all my classmates for like schoolwork, and my teachers still expect the same from me, which I also expect the same from myself. Like I'm very hard on myself with schoolwork, and like it's very important to me. So that can definitely be a really big balance that a lot of people don't realize, that yeah, when I'm on set, I'm also trying to fit in time to do school, and there's a tutor there, but it's obviously really different to work one-on-one with someone who isn't your teacher and who doesn't know what's really happening with all of your lessons. And it's a lot of like, yeah, it's definitely, that's also something that I didn't really realize. Like before I was in all this, I was like, oh my God, all of those people that I used to watch on all of my shows and stuff, they were also going through this at the same time and trying to graduate high school. And a lot of people do it differently, because yes, a lot of people do online school or homeschool, or they'll do like graduate early or all those things. But since I'm not like working every day, even though there is stuff going on, there will be like months at a time that I'm just at home, and I don't really,
that's when you want the normal life. Like that's when you want to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to show up to my English. Like I remember rolling up to classes after being gone for months and being like, I've never been happier to sit in a 60-minute class. Or that. Like it's just like that sense of normalcy is really nice.
Well, yeah, because you had the same thing, Tor, because when you were doing your show, that was your grade 9 and 10, like your high school years. And like, it's so nice to be able to hop back in. Yeah, I was in grade 11 when I shot the second season of Life with Boys, and I remember going back and being like, oh my God, normal life is so cool. I get to sit in a classroom like, and not be just with a tutor. Like there's just, I don't know. I guess when you're in that, like that's your normal. So it feels normal. Right. But then when you get to go back to the normal of actual high school life, it's pretty fun. It's the Hannah Montana lifestyle. It's like,
right? I say that all the time. Exactly. Yeah. Totally. Like, yeah, it just keeps like normalcy in general, and you can see your school friends and whatever. Totally. But also, by the way, I loved Life with Boys. I watched it all the time.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice to hear.
That's so cute.
I was exactly your age when we shot the second season. So there you go. Another whole
the timelines
so weird.
Okay, well, I feel like we were talking about all the amazing highlights, and we love to hear the success stories, but this podcast is really rooted in, you know, the not so Instagram moments, maybe the moments that don't make it to the Instagram stories. Do you have any moments, whether it's career and a horrible audition, a crazy red carpet moment, or in your personal life, did you ever have a moment where you go, oh, I'm not as cool as I thought I was. This is embarrassing.
Definitely. I have way too many of those moments.
Oh, well, we love it at Poddy Talk.
I mean, there's a lot of times like in general that I'm just like, I'm like not cool enough to be doing any of these things. Like there's so many times that I'll like, even like after like a photo shoot or something, I'll like look at, I'm like, I'm not that cool in real life. That is not like, this is no, I have so many of those moments, but this is like a big one that it's traumatizing and I will forever remember it. It was it's my worst audition of my life. Like auditions are always stressful, but this one was awful. So this was back in the day. I was like in grade 5 or 6 or something. I used to get so nervous. Like this was for when I was doing commercial auditions. I used to get so like ridiculously nervous. Like I thought I was going to throw up. Like I couldn't even speak. Like I was freaking out. And now like I've definitely handled that a little better. And now I'm okay going to auditions. But at the time they were like the biggest thing ever. So I was doing it for one of my favorite restaurants. It was a commercial for a local restaurant that I love. And I was like, oh, that's so fun. Like, I love it. Did the audition. I had to pretend to like eat spaghetti, like mime it. Like there wasn't anything there. They were just like, oh, like eat. And like they asked me some questions. It was all great. It went smoothly. And I was like, oh, that was awesome. So I got the call back and I was like, oh, great. Like I this would be so fun to be a part of this commercial. So I was so nervous. I go to the callback and they were like, oh, so this time we have real spaghetti. Like we're not just gonna mime it. And I was like, oh, okay. But I was so nervous. So, you know, like you don't really feel like eating when you're so nervous in front of all these, there was like 8 people there, like all these scary, judgy adults that like, it was stressful. So they give me this plate of spaghetti and like a great big fork. And I'm like eating a little bit, like I was being so minimal. Like I was eating like a few noodles at a time because I was like, I do not feel good. This smells awful. It was like cold, like red sauce spaghetti. Like it was terrible. Ugh. And then they literally tell me like, oh, like, can you take a bigger bite? And I was like, sure. So I like do it's so bad. Take a big old bite. And I'm like, just sitting there, like I'm like chewing, trying to swallow it because I felt so nauseous. And I just like projectile throw, like completely spit out, not even just like spit it out, but I like I like gag.
Like a visceral reaction.
Like a intense, it wasn't just like a like, oh, I spit it out. That was like kind of gross. You know, I was like, and I spat it all out. And I was like standing there and I stared at them and they were not nice. They were not nice about it. They thought I was like choking instead of like vomiting. And they were like, oh my God, don't die on my watch. Like someone get her some water. And I was like, and I started crying, but like I'm still in the audition. So now all these people are staring at me as I have like spaghetti sauce on my face and their product all over the table. And I was like, yes, I just spat out your food for your commercial. And
the spaghetti.
It was so traumatizing and they weren't even nice about it. Like I was like 10 years old. Why can't you just like
be nice?
This to happen. And it was a mess. And I cried all the way home and then I had to go back to school. And I was like, yeah, that was the most embarrassing. It was so awful.
So I feel like I know the answer, but did you book it?
I didn't. Surprisingly.
That's so funny.
And every time I go back, that's still one of my favorite restaurants.
I was going to say, have you ever gone back to that restaurant?
Yeah, I go there all the time. My mom's like, she's like, I don't order the spaghetti. I'm like, hey, what a good one. Like every time we go there, my family's like, this spaghetti. Because it was a bad moment in my life.
That is bad. I'll give it to you. That's some real low lows.
And like, especially, I was supposed to be promoting the actual product that I was it was bad.
That you were hurling up
I was
chucking.
hurling, yep. So that was fun. But
wow, that's lovely, Anna.
That's lovely.
I hope you enjoyed that great story.
No, I did.
Absolutely incredible.
So you have to tell me, and this is just anecdotal for my own sense. Obviously, I assume you've got to spend a good amount of time with Jenny Han, the author of the books. Is she as amazing as I believe she is?
Yes, she is. She's so amazing. Her like all the time, I'm just like, how do you come up with all these cool, crazy things in your like mind? That's
imagination.
Amazing.
I know.
Yeah, your imagination is wild. But I'm actually doing it live with her tomorrow, so you should watch it.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to tune in.
Yeah, this is so funny, and I like this will probably come out after the live is done. But
it will.
I had this school project because right now, like during quarantine or whatever, I still have to be doing school, and it was to like interview somebody that you admire who's working in a field that like you could see yourself going into later and like ask them about the career path.
You have some access.
And I was like, you know what? Like Jenny would be really fun to talk to. And like, I would love to see like what her path was to be a writer and stuff. So I like texted her yesterday and was like, hey, like whatever, this is a school project. Like if you're down, let me know. And she was like, oh my God, that sounds so fun. We should do it over live. I was like, oh, that's
content moment.
Think about that. And she was like, let's do it. And like, she was like, tons of my fans want to know about my writer career as well. Like, now we can just tell everyone, and everyone's bored at home. Like, it'd be perfect. So
Aww.
yeah, now we're doing live tomorrow on our Instagram, and I'm going to ask her all these questions for literally my school project.
Oh,
And
that's amazing.
Time. So yeah.
Oh,
It's
I
so
love
funny
that.
that you like brought her up because,
That's the two worlds colliding. Just the Hannah in you and the Miley
Yeah.
in you.
exactly.
They're both there.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question actually for you, Anna, and this is something, I feel like we touched about it a little bit, about maybe the general public or your friends at school don't see all the hard work or all the behind the scenes, but what's something about you that would surprise a lot of your audience or people to find out about you?
I don't know. Like, in general, I think, even though it's like, I don't know how to explain this, that I am actually way more shy than people think. Like, I'm not shy when I'm like in front of the camera, and I'm not shy when I'm just like making videos with my sister. But when I'm in like giant group settings with people that like actor level, I am shy. But like your people at school level and stuff, like, oh no, like she's like pretty outgoing. But I get very intimidated by like people who are super, super out there and like outgoing, because I'm definitely like also more of an overthinker than I think a lot of people realize. And like my brain's always going like 10 miles a minute. So I think that's definitely like shocking, because a lot of people are like, oh, like you're in the entertainment industry, like you're super outgoing, you're like great talking in front of bunch of people. But honestly, like talking in front of a huge crowd is easier for me than talking in front of like a bunch of teenagers that are like my age.
You've talked to audiences of like 60,000 kids at We Day, and you're like, yeah, no problem.
No, but
Like that doesn't bother you.
So weird. There's so many, like I've actually talked to other actors and stuff like this as well. They're like, no, like when you're like performing, it's like a whole different thing. Like
Totally.
I still definitely get nervous about like We Day. I was so nervous, but those things are like so different, because you're like
well, you're putting
on
on
a different part of your brain.
You know, like you're in a different like kind of area. But even like at school, I'm like way more shy than I am like performing somewhere.
Totally.
Or, like, so I think that's
really common. I really do.
Yeah, I think
really
it's common.
super common.
That a lot of actors like, people just expect that they're like super like always want the spotlight on them. They're super comfortable in every social setting, but they're really not. And they're like get stressed and like anxious about those kind of things as well, for sure.
That's amazing. Well, we always
we're stopping at the same time.
Okay, you take it. My co-host.
So I was gonna say, so we finish every podcast episode by playing our favorite game, which is called Roses and Thorns, and it's basically a gratitude game. So we get a thorn, which is like off our chest, something that's just like either trivial or something that is affecting your day that you're just like, this is negative, I got to get this off my chest. And then we share 2 roses, which are 2 things you're grateful for or that have brought you a sense of happiness today. And then a rosebud, which is something that you're looking forward to. So I'll let Jaclyn take it away.
I'll go for the first round so that we kind of think. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever made you do this in my real life, but normally any friends or like if I'm having dinner with someone, I'm like, we've got to do roses and thorns. So now we just do it on the podcast.
I've never heard of this, but okay.
Oh, it's kind of like, have you heard like the peek and pit game or like high low? It's kind of like a campy game. Like we like activity.
We're campy like that.
Okay, but a rose of today. This is so hard. I'm having like a really good day.
You mean
sorry, a thorn. I meant thorn.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You don't even know your own game.
A thorn is gonna be. I'm going to come back to it. I can't think of one. A rose right now is actually getting to chat all about this and like reminiscing about our Odd Squad days, and just like all of our memories has been so fun, and forgetting half of these hilarious Meghan Trainor stories is just like the most fun. Another rose is that, sorry, I'm trying to be like really thoughtful and intentional about these.
I'm like trying to think of mine right now too.
I know. I want them to be good. Another rose is, you know what, I actually like had a beautiful breakfast. And you know, you just like have a good meal. Like Anna, actually, I know you're like this. You're like a mini chef, and she actually did try the banana bread recipe and said it was
yes,
good, ? But she used the wrong baking pan.
No, it was good. It tasted good. It was.
We had some cooking issues.
We had
burnt on the edges, raw in the middle. We'll deal with it. We didn't have a baking loaf. That was the issue.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Got it.
But yeah, I just like appreciate a really like good, beautiful meal. And I like kind of didn't have breakfast. So I had a late breakfast, and then it was just like incredible. And I was like, wow, I am so blessed to have this blessed oatmeal, like, you know? And then another rose is, you know what, I cleaned all of my makeup brushes, which they were getting unsanitary, like actually like harboring germs, I think. So that was good. I needed to do that. And then something I'm looking forward to, a rosebud, is watching the live stream tomorrow with you and Jenny. I'm going to definitely tune in. Okay, Anna next or Tori? Who's ready?
Yeah, Anna, go ahead.
Okay, well, I kind of just woke up before this started.
Love
because
it.
I'm 3 hours
Me
behind.
every week on the podcast.
It was
Yeah.
11:30, so I like woke up at like 10, and then I just like slowly got ready. So not that much has happened today yet, but
Well, I hope this was a good start to your day.
I was gonna say this. Like this
Aw.
is totally I was so excited. Like even like last night, I was like, oh, like what am I gonna say? This is gonna be so great. So no, this was definitely like a rose. I don't know. Honestly, not that much happened, but unlike you and your fancy breakfast, I had a granola bar like 5 minutes before we started this.
Sometimes a little nature valley hits the spot.
Also not important, but see, you said oatmeal again. Her favorite food is oatmeal, but I did this quiz on Jaclyn Forbes, and she said her favorite food was bread.
Thank you. I also chose oatmeal. That was absolute savagery, Jaclyn.
You're like your best friend, and she said oatmeal.
I know. I'm sorry, Jaclyn.
Yeah,
I know
was mad
you
about that too.
I will say I in some ways am wrong because you do say often bread is my absolute favorite food. So I should have. But I will say the oatmeal was such a trick question because what you do say is my favorite consistency of food is mush, aka oatmeal.
True.
So like honestly, both were correct.
And to be fair, I probably eat oatmeal more than just like a hunk of like.
Yeah,
I watch
you guys
your
are
stories,
both right.
Jaclyn, every day, and you always eat oatmeal. Where's the bread? Not very
That's true.
often.
I know.
That made me mad.
I
I thought
agree.
I'd bring that up.
That's a thorn for you.
Glad Tori's on my side because
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, also, I did your like best friend quiz too, and I think I got 2 right. So I don't think we're even friends anymore.
That was bad.
Like
we need to both. Yeah,
we need to catch up more often.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways,
I don't know. I'm looking forward to. I have a bunch of things happening today actually, which is fun. I'm doing a live with Bailey Madison later.
oh,
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I think me and my sister are gonna make TikToks because what else do you do on a casual Wednesday at home?
Did quarantine even happen if TikToks weren't made? That's my
Exactly.
question.
I got TikTok like 2 weeks ago because of this, and I honestly think TikTok would have seen like such a like spike in viewers. Like everybody's just like, if you didn't have it before, you have it now. Yeah,
Totally.
For sure. Okay, I'm clearly avoiding the question because I don't know what to say.
I didn't say a thorn either. It's okay.
Okay, yeah,
there's no negative.
There's no
I have
thorns.
one, so I'll say the thorn for everyone.
Okay. Uh-oh.
I have a vast thorn, and it's because as we were talking about all of this and like just the joys of film and like the industry, my thorn is that I know that this pandemic is affecting every single person, but specifically I'm sad for the film and television world because no film can ever be made without a crew, and a crew is such a large group of people that people don't always see, and they're so phenomenal. And it makes me sad because it really will be a while before we'll be at a place, I think, where an amount of people like a crew can come together, and that makes me that is a thorn. And my boyfriend also works in film, so we've talked about that a lot, and that's just that is a thorn for me. So
Major thorn.
Yeah, for sure.
And okay, roses. I'm just thrilled to hear that Jenny is who I think she is. That was just such a rose for me. Like,
The biggest fangirl.
I really am a fangirl, and specifically of Jenny, because like those books were very influential in actually my high school years, because that's what I was reading, and she's just such a brilliant writer and paints such a nice picture. And then to add on to that as a secondary rose is that I'm so glad the movies and all the characters got the light of day they deserved. Like, I'm just so thrilled for the whole franchise. I can't
Tori,
explain.
I also want to preface, never is like starry-eyed about anything, and the fact that she is like this fangirly over to all the boys means a lot.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fangirl, but this is a moment.
This is your true love.
Because I really do appreciate, the whole thing. So anyways, all roses all around.
So happy that you love it.
And then Rosebud, I guess I have to copy the same. Like, I'm super stoked to see this live stream tomorrow now. What time are you guys going live?
2. Oh no, for you guys 5.
5.
Yeah.
That's
Toronto
perfect
time.
timing. That's
Yeah.
happy hour. Stunning.
Yeah, I'm
Happy
excited.
hour.
I want to like tell people what's happening though, because people are just gonna like come in the middle of it. I'm gonna be like, so Jenny, what's the highlight of your career and what's the downfall?
You know what you could do though, Anna? You could like pin a comment to be like the thing.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And what you could also do is you can set a reminder.
Completing school project. Don't be
Tell them I was
alarmed.
like, that was with Jenny Hunt. Yeah.
Truly. And you can also on your stories like set a reminder for something. So that way you can be like, I count down 9 hours till the live stream. So then that way people get a notification that it's about to start if you want them to see the whole thing.
I do not know all these fancy tricks.
Yeah.
Also, I've never gone live before.
Wait, really?
Ever. So today I'm doing with Bailey, so that'll be like a first.
Yeah,
never
that'll
You'll be
be
so
good.
good
So
at
you'll put your toe in the water.
That's too funny.
But,
Wow. Well, Anna, thank you so much for
much.
Yeah, this was honestly so much fun.
This is so fun. Yeah.
Well, thanks for waking up for us and for
I know.
podcasting.
Thanks for waking up. Thanks for sharing your stories. I know our listeners are going to love to hear all these insights and all the truly the wild ride of your career. It's so exciting.
And the
honestly,
pops to downfalls.
congratulations. Like it's so it's insane. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. It's been crazy.
That is worth saying
thanks.
as well. You work so hard, and I don't know if people say this enough, but great job. Great job, my little
You're
friend.
doing amazing, sweetie.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this episode of Poddy Talk, the podcast where we shit talk ourselves. I'm Jac.
And I'm Tor.
And that was Anna Cathcart. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.